Welcome to my YouTube channel and training documentation leading into the Torian Pro 2026. This is my first year qualifying after a couple years of trying to. I'm out in Broken Hill for this session. It's Easter Monday. I was away for the long weekend, and this gym is a YMCA. It has a full commercial setup and it had plenty of functional training and CrossFit equipment, so I was able to do all of my session as prescribed, which was great, since when you're away it can be a little bit hard sometimes if the gym doesn't have a full setup to follow programming. However, I was prepared to do some alternatives if I wasn't able to do the exact session as written, but thankfully everything was sweet to do. This first piece is a 400-meter row, must be done in a minute and a half or under, and into 10 front squats with a pretty moderately weighted loading, 65% of your 1 rep max, which for me, my front squat is a weak area in terms of strength, so this workout was quite tough. After a few days off before this, I did do a 5K run the day before to try to prep my body for getting into some hard training again, and that may have caused a little bit more fatigue in my glutes, hamstrings, legs, and just body in general, but not to the point where I couldn't get through the session. Now I'm going to do voiceovers for parts of my training when I feel like talking through it, or if something in particular I feel the need to make a note of. Most of the time it'll just be the raw footage, sped up for time's sake, since a lot of these workouts do go for roughly 15 to 20 minutes, some short obviously, and then some other long ones which you'll see later in the week. So those ones I'll just have a more time-lapse style video, but just to show pretty much every rep and every set of everything that I do in the lead up, just for anyone that's interested to watch along, but more so just for my sake to have footage and documentation of how I was training through this period and the results that end up coming from it, whether they be good or bad. We'll find that out in about 6 weeks' time. So I followed Sentinel training for my training programming, which I've been on for the last 5 months. I found really good progress in that time from it. A lot of interval style work, which something I was doing very little of prior, and I've seen the benefit too. So definitely would recommend people to get on Sentinel if they are looking for a pretty affordable and really true to CrossFit training programming. I feel like there's plenty of metabolic conditioning done, which should be the base of everyone's training. There's strength pieces most days. I follow the compete track, which usually takes about 2 hours, just over, for me to get through all of the program in one session. You pretty much can only train in the afternoons after I work, which means I have to get all of that work done in one session. Ideally, I could split it, but that's just not the reality for me at this current stage. On Saturdays and Sundays, I will do the Saturday programming, and I plan on doing some of my own extra work on these days, as I should have a little bit more free time available to work on things that I feel the need to. So these videos are going to be pretty raw, pretty much just putting up the workouts, the times, reps, whatever it may be the case for each piece that I do. And the quality of these will just be filmed on my phone, just using the WeTime app, which I use for online qualifier workouts, and I figured might as well just use it for this stuff. So this is what you'll get if you want to follow along and watch, and open to suggestions if anyone watches and comments and feels like they've got any good ideas that I could implement. Obviously, I'm not doing anything that's going to take away from my training and the quality of the session, so keeping it pretty much like this will be my go for the now. And the reason I wanted to do this was I just don't feel like many people put out what they do in their training. See a lot of good highlight pieces on social media, but, not enough insight into, just general training, day-to-day work. Not every piece you're hitting perfectly or with, this crazy intensity, particularly for myself doing all the session in one hit. The first piece usually has a little bit better quality to it and intensity, and as the second and third pieces in the session come, the intensity drops due to fatigue, overlap of muscles working. This is just a part of it, and why split sessions can be more beneficial. However, I have found doing all of this in one session almost has improved my fitness from just the sheer volume of doing it in one go. I wouldn't usually have ever done multiple Metcons back to back to back in a session, but like you'll see today, pretty much that first lifting piece I would consider a Metcon. And then this piece here, which is a 3-rounder, a little bit of a longer workout, 60 GHDs first round, 40 in the second, 20 in the last round, and then 30, 20, 10 overhead dumbbell walking lunge. And my legs were pretty sore, and I was a bit fatigued from that first bit, so the pace on the runs isn't crazy. I'm not the best runner as it is, but the course, I don't even know if it was 800 meters, but I just kind of ran around the block on the second and third. The first one, I did this up and back and around the block sort of loop, which took just a little bit over 3 minutes for each run, closer to 3:30. So it wouldn't have been far off 800, but it might have been just a bit under. But either way, I got a bit of running in, which I'm going to try to do as much as I can before Torian, as their first event tends to have running in it. And if the first event doesn't, I'm sure we'll be doing some sort of run at some point. So if I can not be as bad by then, certainly probably won't be the fastest out there, but if I can not be last, then that's probably a good thing. So I'll let the rest of this workout play out, and I'll be back on the next piece. on to the third piece for today, which is a skill-based piece. 10 rounds for time, 10 box jump overs with a step down, 30-inch box, and 5 ring muscle-ups. Now, fresh, I think this workout I could push the pace pretty hard from start to finish, but my legs are pretty tired by this point, and just general body fatigue from the first two pieces. So this workout starts off at a decent pace, but I definitely slow up a little bit round around, taking a bit of a pause after each set of box jumps to chalk the hands, and also the step down, or more so this jump back up, gets a little bit more laboured. I take a little bit of a second each step, which if I'm fresh, I'd rather not do. I'd try to step down and bounce back straight up when that second foot hits the ground, which I do at times, but not too many reps throughout this whole workout. However, this workout was a fun one. For people that are capable of doing unbroken sets of ring muscle-ups, these sort of workouts are mentally a little bit easier than like the rowing squat piece I had today. Some people may find that mentally easier, but these ones are a little bit easy to get through in the back end of the session when you're a bit fatigued, because the skill is more biased than just the effort and the punish of just pushing hard. I'm going to let this one play out, and then we've got one last piece after this, which is the accessory work. So yeah, that workout, I probably could go a fair bit quicker, fresh, but under the level of fatigue, that's the time that it ended up being. So this accessory piece here is 5 sets for quality. So I'm not trying to race through it. 2-minute rest between each set. It's a superset. 6 to 8 strict Russian dips. So you set up some boxes like so, and roll back onto the forearms so the elbows are on the boxes, and then roll forward and up and dip. Great for the triceps, great to work your transitions for ring muscle-ups, particularly strict ring muscle-ups. And then just some tempo upright rows, so just slower on the eccentric, slower than you go up. So you're just controlling the weight down 12 to 16 reps. Each set I added a little bit of weight, just starting with 30 kilos for 16, and then as the weight goes up, a couple of reps down on each set. And that was all for the day, so see you tomorrow. Touch.